Hello everyone, ExtraOneAndrew here today, and we are going to be going over module bases in Conan Exile. As you can see here, I've got 6 buildings, and they're all connected using sandstone, and I'll explain why it's sandstone in just a little bit. But before I go into that, I want to show you guys all the different kinds of building materials and which ones I would use to build stuff. So the criteria were we want the ceiling tiles to match the foundation tiles, and if you're looking at the corner, there's no gap. So obviously this one doesn't work. This one is the arena, which looks pretty similar but is slightly different because of the corners on the foundations, and there's a slight gap. This one here works wonderfully. So the Argonesian, this is the black ice, obviously not. This is the float Sam, again no. This is the frontier, which that looks the same to me. And if we come over here, you got no light coming through the corner. This is the hay covered stable. And then this is the stable, I believe. Insulated wood. The top's good for both of these, but you got the gap through the side. Gap through the side here. The top isn't the same. Sandstone, obviously everybody knows that you've already got a gap there. And the tops look different, so that's a no. We got a big gap here, and the tops are different. For this one, the tops are the same, but we got a big gap. This one here, no gap. I'm gonna call that no gap. And the tops look the same, so this one works too. The storm glass. The tops all look the same, no gap. So Turian is also a good option. We've got a gap there. Ceilings look the same though, and a gap there, and the ceilings look the same. So we've got the Turian, the storm glass, the frontier, and the Argonesian. And the reason why you would want to be able to do this is because if you are trying to create a secret room, you can have it set up so all you have to do is destroy a foundation, and then you'd be able to get into your secret room without having to do anything else, because you can set a ceiling tile up above it, and then you'd be able to just destroy the foundation, get through, and replace the foundation. So now that we've discussed the different ones that we could use, I use Frontier because that's just the one I prefer. So these two here are not put together all the way, just so you can see how it works. So you start with a layer of foundations, build up walls, and then foundation, put fence pieces so people can't climb, and then you'll have sandstone going across. And then same thing over here. This one's deeper because even if you end up with uneven ground like this, you can still set it up to prevent people from being able to break in the same way. And I know what you're thinking. Why do you have sandstone there? Because if somebody does manage to get up onto your catwalk, you don't want anybody to be able to break down the door. Your sandstone ceiling is going to break before the door. And as you can see, so those two are 3x3. This one looks like a 4x4, but it's not. That one's a 4x4, this one is a 5x5, and that one's a 3x3. So the reason why this looks like a 4x4 and it's not is because it's actually much smaller, much more secure, and it tiers down like this, so you can put a whole bunch of large chests in here. You can fill it up right there, fill it up here, jump up on the chest, and just keep going back and forth until you put as many chests as you want in there. It's just set up so that way it is more secure, but looks, I mean, just like all the other ones, right? Because that looks just like that. This one is a 4x4, which is big enough to hold a vault. So that is an option if you want to do it like that. And then we have this big one right here, which is a 5x5, which isn't, there's not anything special in it other than the cross at the top, steps that go down. So if you wanted to, you could make your base setup so that you have each of your like crafting stations in a different building, or like groups of crafting stations, so that way if somebody hits you, you don't have to worry about them getting all of your stuff. And that's the whole basis behind this module base thing, because they have to go through 2 foundations and a wall to get in through the side. And then we have this right here, which is the only way in to this whole complex. We've got 1, 2, 3 gates set up, a set of stairs, just goes to a set of double doors, and then you'd be in. By the time you blow through this door, you would have destroyed this foundation too, just based on the proximity, which would prevent you from getting in to the base further. So if anyone is trying to break into your base, they will have to place bombs on here, which will destroy these sandstone ceilings well before the frontier door gets destroyed, preventing them from being able to get in that way through your doors. They will have to instead go through the walls or through the foundations, and you can make these much thicker by putting a wall, so building this up, putting down a wall, and then on the inside you can put a foundation. So they have to go through 170,000 here just to get through into the innermost part of that, and you can do that everywhere, just to make it a little thicker and harder to blow through. And that is everything for today. So remember, the key to survival is safety.